The starting strength model of bulking is dead. Hey, everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Again, when I make this statement, I want to be clear. I am in no way trying to detract away from what starting strength or Ripto have done for getting people under a barbell again. So again, I want to state that up front before I give this piece of criticism. And I want to be very clear on that I actually consider starting strength to be a mandatory read for anyone relatively new to lifting. In fact, I could say probably should be in your library if you're going to lift at all. It should probably be in there. So I do consider it to be almost today like a pivotal and critical piece of literature. Okay, I think you should own a copy. You should have a copy. You should read it. Unless you have decades and decades of training experience already, in which case, okay, you might not need it. All right, if you've hit really big squat benches and deadlifts, you can skip it. But for everybody else, yeah, it should be in there. They helped get people away from purely machine training because a lot of the gym had gone over to everyone just using machines. They started getting grandmas and housewives and everyone else actually under a squat bar, okay, getting them under a barbell. So you cannot take that away from them. I do believe that had a enormous positive impact on the fitness community. Okay, enormous, absolutely enormous positive impact. While I don't agree with everything they say or everything in their book, I think that really pushed a lot of stuff in a good direction. So I am not saying that this is all bad. Now, that being said, when it comes to the nutrition advice and the bulking advice, not only is it dead, it's horrifically bad. This idea that every man should weigh over 200 pounds. If you're under 6 foot, you probably don't need to be 200 plus pounds unless you have 10 years of training experience. And I mean, and here's an example. You guys have seen my client, Justin. I put up videos of Justin. Justin has been training for like 15 years. I've been coaching him for 5. He's in his 30s. He is about 185 to 190 pounds with a 6-pack, completely drug-free. We have seen him deadlift 590 pounds. He has hit a low bar squat of 525 pounds, and he has a 315 bench. Guy can crank out sets of 10 on weighted pull-ups. Okay? Looks jacked. He's strong. He's fit. He's in shape. He's under 200 pounds. So do you see where I'm going with that? He has those sort of numbers, and he's actually around 5'10 to 5'11. So he's not a short dude. It's a hair above average height. Just a hair above average for North America. He's under 200 pounds still. Because if you're lean and fit, you got to be pretty dang big. I mean, I'm 210 right now in most of this footage. I could stand to be leaner. So let's be clear, this idea you need to be 200 pounds. Really, you're going to tell me all these novice men need to be 200 plus pounds? They're just getting fat. Okay? And what we are seeing out of a lot of the people coming out of this starting strength, and unfortunately I've known people who come out of it and they're like, they told me I should bulk to this, and they bulked them till they were unhealthy obese. Like literally following the advice of their coaches in their group. And I literally have had someone who, again, was a client for a short time come to me with that, who really I'm like, we need to lose about 30 pounds. Like just to be healthy. This person's like, but they're telling me I need to put on more weight on starting strength based on my numbers. No, and it's like you are unhealthy. Or like, do you feel like, no, I feel like I'm unhealthy and I feel like I don't look good, but they're telling me I need to gain more. I would like to get leaner. I'm like, well, let's get you leaner. Therein lay the problem. And again, not going to name names, but the problem is out of that same community. Some of the coaches, it's come down to me through other people that they are like diagnosed type 2 diabetic. Okay, do you understand how horrible your diet has to be to lift weights and be type 2 diabetic? Do you understand how horrifically bad? And that's a problem, this idea from them that you need to be bulking like that. just to gain strength and muscle. It's not based on reality. And if we're going to be evidence-based and we are going to look at research, look at evidence, large surpluses are not necessary to maximize muscle growth. They're not. We've got studies now that are looking at surpluses as small as a 3% calorie surplus. People say you can't even calculate that. I'm aware of that. But when they've done it and the people have gained weight as slow as half a pound a month, and then they are compared to people on 10% surpluses who are gaining 2 or 3 pounds a month, who do you think gained more muscle? People are like, well, the people on the faster bulks. No, they didn't. And this is with proper programming. So when this has been studied and good strength coaches and strength conditioning coaches have written the programming and they're looked at in the studies, no, they're not gaining more muscle. They are gaining 3 pounds extra fat. That's it. That's it. They're not gaining any more muscle. So this idea that, oh, we should be drinking a gallon of milk with all that saturated fat, or that dietary fat itself is even particularly useful for gaining muscle, data's not really there supporting that a whole lot, right? We have plenty of studies showing that recomposition is possible in already trained athletes, that it is actually possible to gain muscle and lose fat concurrently, even for people squatting 400 plus pounds. It's been seen in studies. Okay, you see where we're going? There is no reason to be gaining a bunch of fat when you're bulking. There's simply no reason. It's not supported by the current evidence. It's not supported by the real world. And the only thing that's going to happen is people are going to become fat and unhealthy. Okay, we live in a society with an obesity epidemic already. And so this sort of mindset into the fitness world or lifting world, this is not good. And I get the old paradigms. I fully understand where they were coming from the old school approach to bulking and everything, but we are not in that world. The data has come a long way. Again, we're in a situation to where people are, as a society, we're too obese. Okay? Our foods are more processed, keeping in mind those old school lifters, because everyone was probably a bit more underweight, right? And we didn't have as many refined foods and things, so people needed to struggle to gain weight to get bigger, but a lot of them still needed to cut later. So we need a context for those old school mindsets. And in the world we're living in today, and with the data and information that we have, it makes sense to only lean bulk. Focus on entirely lean gains unless you're really ripped already. Okay, if you're walking around super shredded, it's a little different. But if you're not, like for where I am right now, okay, there is no reason I don't have to gain any body fat to gain more muscle. It's just simply not necessary. And I would suggest that that's true for all of you out there. We can make lean gains if you're over 10% body fat easily, and just gain slow. And it will not compromise your results at all. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.